Are you new to griddle cooking or just need a refresher on how to season your outdoor griddle for the first time? We got you. You want to see me dig in and season this brand new Pit Boss Deluxe 4-burner? Stick around while I dig in. Just before Christmas time, I knew it had been a year since we had done a video on a steel unit or a non-ceramic unit. I went ahead and ordered from Pit Boss the Deluxe 4-burner. I've been super happy with this. If you saw the last video, you saw it took less than 24 minutes to put this thing together by myself, might I add. It just was a matter of really following the directions and getting it all put together. So I do have it put together. I really am impressed. These huge shelves, which also act as a hood, as a hard top cover for it, are awesome. The size, I guess, just completely surprised me. I don't know why it caught me off guard. This is a large cooking surface, 37.5 inches wide, just over 37 inches wide, 20.2 inches deep, 62,000 BTUs for this whole unit. I'm really anxious to get this first burn off and seasoning done. Like I said, if you're new to griddle cooking, the first thing you want to do with your griddle, your outdoor, if it is a steel unit, is you do want to add oil to it. This is going to add a protective layer similar to what you would for your cast iron cookware inside. Maybe your grandma used to do it. We do something similar on these griddle surfaces. Now, if you have an Ultimate griddle or a Sierra griddle from Pit Boss, you do not need to do this process. Those you simply do the burn off and start cooking because that ceramic coated is awesome. Now, for me, I am going to be using flax oil. The reason for this is I've seasoned so many griddles and I typically use vegetable or canola oil. That's just been my go-to oil of choice. However, I realized after when I would cover the griddle for say a week or two, when I'd come back, it would be very tacky or a lot of that seasoning would start to pull up. Here in Central Florida, it gets very hot and humid, especially during the summertime. So I started using flax oil and I felt it was far more successful as far as really maintaining its integrity. It wouldn't break down as quick and it wouldn't get as tacky over time, even in that humidity. Sometimes a little moisture would come through, but it would be very rarely. So I stick with flax oil for my first seasoning. You do not have to use flax oil or flaxseed oil. You can use any cooking oil you like. You want to look for a good cooking oil though that has a high smoke point. That's why a lot of people use vegetable oil, canola oil, and things like that. But for this, all we're going to do, we're going to turn the burners on and let it go for about 15 minutes. That's going to start the burn off, which is going to get rid of any of the chemicals or anything that are on this griddle. Now with Pit Boss, this is already pre-seasoned with an organic seasoning. So they say you don't need to season this griddle initially before you start cooking. That said, it's a process we've always done with these steel units, so we're going to keep following that process. So here we go. Let's get into it instead of just talking about it. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on and we're going to go ahead and light it. First burner, first try. We'll try that again. There we go. There we go. Almost all of them had it on the first try. So what we do is I've got these on high. I'm gonna leave it on high and just let it go for about 15 minutes. We're gonna speed it up on the second angle so you can see how the griddle will color and change over time. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a few minutes here. 15 to be exact. It has been 15 minutes and you can see kind of what I had alluded to. We've got a very hot zone over here where we've got straight steel look over here and we're starting to get the darkening over here. So this is where that U-shaped tube is right here. So it's a little darker here, less dark here. Now, overall, I did turn these burners down. I remember doing this. I did this before with my Blackstone when I started to season because the middle would get so hot that actually I would find the seasoning would start to flake while I was seasoning it because it was just too hot. So I'm bringing the temperature down just a little bit and then I'm gonna control the heat here and let it go here. But I've got my flax oil and you're gonna see the process that I do here. So I just take a paper towel and I fold it, make sure it's thick, good and thick, and I get it down to like that. And I'm going to be using my tool here just to kind of hold, to help kind of move and groove that around. And you'll see what that's like right here. But I'm just gonna lay a small amount, about 1 to 2 tablespoons is all. You can see that already smoking up here. And then I'm just gonna take my paper towel and I'm going to spread this around. And I want to make sure this is super thin. If I see any bubbling, I'm going to make sure and go back over it again. This is just a super thin coat of oil. Now the flaxseed oil does get very hot even on the paper towel. I want to get up on my sides. Because I just want to make sure this is run thin, and we're going to make sure that we're not going to get, because if it does if it does kind of bubble up a little bit, that is going to leave kind of a sticky, uneven surface. But you can see where I'm getting some good coloring. I would guess the front of the griddle is going to take a little bit longer to season. It doesn't matter, it will be seasoned. It just won't be as dark as the rest. So now we're going to let this smoke off. All we're going to do is, you can see it smoking. We're going to let that keep smoking. When it stops, I'll take a look at it and do this step probably 2 or 3 more times. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so sometimes I've done this as many as 8 or 9 times. We're just going to monitor this, let this burn out, and we'll see how it goes. That only took about 8 minutes or so to completely smoke off. So now I'm going to go ahead and reapply. As you can see, the coloring is very interesting to me. It's a little bit different than the other griddles I've done before in the past, but I'm liking the coloring so far. So let's do at least 1 more. I'm thinking it's going to be at least 2 or 3 more, but let's go ahead and do it again. All right, so it looks like we're averaging about 8 to 10 minutes for the burn off. There's still just a little bit here, but the left side has stopped, so I'm about to apply. One thing I did want to point out, I know I'm using these paper towels. People have asked, does it have to be paper towels? Does it have to be rags? The first time I ever seasoned a griddle, I was told, oh, make sure you use a rag because the paper towel leaves fibers. It seems anything's going to leave a little bit of fibers, but you know what? They burn off relatively quickly. I haven't had any issues with the paper towel since. I do use a paper towel. Like I said, it doesn't have to be flaxseed oil. We use the paper towels. So we're going to come into layer 3. I've got this super dark spot, which is interesting. It looked almost super wet right from the beginning, and I think that's right where I dabbed the oil right at first. So I'm interested to see how it starts to blend. It probably won't blend this time, but overall, let's see. So I'm going to give this at least 2 or 3 more times, and this time I won't stop between to talk. So let's just go through the processes so you can see, and at the end I'll let you know how many layers I ended up putting on. Well, there it is in all its glory. It is still cooling down, but it has stopped. A couple of things to note. Obviously, I'm loving the auburn color. That's very common to what we got now. As I noticed, as this is cooling, obviously, it's still not quite cool. I can put my hand on it for just a minute. I'm going to let it get a little bit cooler, but it is just a little tacky up here where it didn't quite get dark. So I've got a little bit of buildup, so I may have to work some of that down and re-season that just a little bit, but also that will change over time, especially the next time I cook, lay oil on it and get it hot. That should be just fine. But otherwise, I really like the way that came out. So the last thing to do is to put one more coat of oil. This time though, I'm using veggie oil. So I apply the vegetable oil all to the entire surface. All I do is I'm just gonna take a little bit here. Doesn't have to be much, about a half tablespoon to a tablespoon, and I'm just rubbing this in to the entire surface. This just kind of helps protect it and get it ready for the next use. There we go. I'm gonna come up, get the sides. I'm getting inside and out. This is just something I've always done. I don't know if you have to do that. Help protect it though. Gonna come around, and I wanna make sure that it's a very thin layer. So I'm rubbing this in. It's been super hot and humid here in Central Florida where everybody's getting these blizzards. We are at record heat near 90 degrees. And so it has been a hot, blistery day today. So there we go. And that's what it looks like, all nice and shiny with that extra layer of oil. Ready to go. So I've got a cook prepped for it, ready to go. I've got the first cook prepped and ready. However, we are losing daylight. I left studio lighting over at Brett's house, so I've only got one teeny light over here. So I'm gonna call it for the evening. I am prepping a smoke cook right now. We're gonna go get that, and I'll get that in. So be looking for that one, but I'll be cooking this one for our first cook tomorrow morning. Doesn't matter, because by the time you see this, it won't matter. It'll just be in order. One thing I wanted to point out on the unboxing that I didn't get to, that I absolutely love about this unit, it has 4 individual casters that turn on their own. I absolutely love that. That makes a big difference, makes it very easy to move around. The Sierra that we love, only two of the wheels move, so it's fine that it's got 4 wheels, but it does sometimes make it a little bit hard to maneuver. The 5-burner Ultimate, all wheels move, and we absolutely love that. Makes a big difference. I wanted to point that out. I realized I didn't mention that during the unboxing and review video. So anyways, I hope that helped you. In total, we ended up with 7 coats. I could have done more to keep getting it just a little darker, but the thing is, it's gonna get darker as I cook on it anyway. I'm interested to see how the Pit Boss reacts, and I'll compare it to my experience from when I cooked on the Blackstone, as well as comparing this more and more to some of the ceramic griddle cooks. I kind of envision, I guess, that Brett and I might be doing some griddle offs or cooking back and forth, or some dueling griddles where one of us will be on the ceramic, the Ultimate griddle, one will be on this Deluxe unit, just to kind of have fun with it, but also to compare and to share our experiences. We will, as we always try to be, completely transparent with you so that you get the most out of it, and this will help you make a decision which griddle is right for you, or just like us, if you just need one more griddle for your arsenal. We love it all for sure. If you did enjoy this video, if it helped you in any way, helped you understand the best way to season your outdoor griddle, make sure and give this video a thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. It's one way in which you can support us in what we do. Another way you can support us is through purchasing one of our 2 griddle cookbooks. The first is the Epic Outdoor Griddle Cookbook, which is available on Amazon or anywhere books are sold. You can order it there. We have a link for that in the description below, as well as our book that we'll be releasing May 16th, Smashed. We're super excited for that. We love getting to come and share all things griddle cooking related, and honestly, the reason we wanted the Deluxe unit along with the ceramic coated was for our love of griddle cooking. I got nothing else to add, so I'm gonna head up on out of here and go prep that. I almost gave away what the smoke cook is, but I'm gonna go prep that right now. With that, I bid you adieu. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and griddle on.